Hey guys, welcome back to the Pancake Spy. It's your host, the Pancake Spy. Back with something a little bit different. It's the Versus series, but it's a little different. Remember I sent that trailer saying I was gonna do Marvel versus battles? Yeah, well, I started doing them, and they got incredibly difficult. You have no idea. Like, martial arts breakdowns and even power breakdowns. The battles were very inconsistent and all this. So I decided, after looking into it, we could do Star Wars versus Marvel. This would be pretty interesting, as all Jedi have the Force, but some Avengers have powers, some don't. And the ones that do, it would be interesting to see which Jedi can go up against them, and the Marvel characters who don't have powers, how well they'll fare with Jedi having the Force. So, this isn't really just, we're just going to do this. This is going to be a tournament to see which franchise has stronger characters, Marvel or Star Wars. So in this video, we're going to have 5 mini battles, between one Marvel character, one Star Wars. And then we're going to do another episode, part 2. And this is going to be another 5 Star Wars characters versus another 5 Marvel characters. Hero or villain, it really doesn't matter. Just like the most powerful figure. And then part 3 is going to be whoever won is going to go to the ultimate showdown. Something I also want to make clear is that to make it even more interesting, if a character, sustains an injury during a previous battle, that injury is going to relay into the finale. So if they got, a hand cut off, they're still not going to have that arm when they go into the finale. So they're going to be, just to see how, even in brutal damage, how these characters are, going to stack up against one another. Because the characters are never really going to be in their primes all the time. So, I don't know. I could have made them all in their primes, but this is to make it more interesting. So here we go with matchup number 1, Captain Marvel versus Anakin Skywalker. Darth Vader and Anakin will both be in this versus, as I find them two very different. But, anyway. So we're going to look at the pros and cons, very quickly, of each character. Compare and contrast, and then who wins because of which. So, starting off at Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is very, very physically strong. I mean, she's able to beat up people. She survived a headbutt from Thanos and didn't even flinch. One of my favorite scenes in Endgame. That's right, I'm using Captain Marvel from Endgame. And she was able to take on a ton of enemies at once. She's very fast, having the ability to fly. And her durability is probably her strongest ability. She's been able to just ram right through spaceships and just blow them up, take hordes of enemies, take a headbutt from Thanos, take several punches from Thanos, and take several Kree gun wounds, and keep on going. Martial skill, Captain Marvel isn't really a martial fighter. She does know guns because she was in the military, but she was more of a pilot in there. She knows basic unarmed skills, but that's about it. When it comes to powers, though, Captain Marvel is incredibly powerful. She's able to shoot out little energy blasts from her hand due to the things of the Tesseract. She has the ability to fly. She can shoot out repulses, and she can even blast out lasers that can destroy armies. She can do little quick ones and then massive ones. But by far, probably her greatest showing of power is when she can literally kind of shoot herself like a rocket into spaceships and end up blowing them up. That's incredibly impressive. She has no weapons other than her power, though. Moving on to Anakin Skywalker. For physicality, Anakin is incredibly strong. He's been able to punch through metal with his robot hand, crush Magna Guards with his fists, and rip apart battle droids, and contend with Count Dooku and ObiWan Kenobi. For speed, he was able to use his speed to break through Count Dooku and Obi-Wan's defenses on multiple occasions. Anakin is also incredibly durable. He survived being burned alive with 3 limbs chopped off. He also survived a duel with Count Dooku, which lost his right hand. Plus, the Clone Wars gave him enough brutal injuries. Martial skill. Anakin was a master of both Form 4 and Form 5 lightsaber combat. I'm not going to get into those lightsaber combats, but Form 4 is a very acrobatic and agile lightsaber style, and Form 5, Anakin's preferred style, was a complete strength form. Anakin would usually just overpower his adversaries with this style. For powers, Anakin is naturally gifted. However, he never really dedicated himself to Force powers, thinking natural talent was all he needed. He knew basic Force pushes and pulls, Force repulses, and even Force choke. He also knew Jedi mind tricks and Force augmentation. He carries a standard blue-bladed lightsaber. Now to compare and contrast, for strength, Anakin, though Captain Marvel isn't far off, Anakin just has better displays. Speed-wise, I'm going to give it to Anakin. Captain Marvel, all her speed feats are non-human, more due to her powers, where Anakin's are a lot more natural. Durability, I'm going to give the very, very slight edge to Anakin, but very slightly. Martial skill, again, it's going to have to go to Anakin, as Captain Marvel isn't really trained for martial combat, where Anakin spent 23 years to his lightsaber combat. Powers, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel just has more output, and she just has more versatility. Her abilities of flight are going to reduce Anakin's ability to use Force pushes and repulses. And if she could smash through a spaceship, she can smash through Anakin. She can repulse him away, blast him with massive energy beams. And Anakin really doesn't have a lot of defense for a lot of Captain Marvel's powers. Armament and tools, I'm giving it to Anakin because he's the only one with armament and tools with his lightsaber. And now the verdicts. It really just comes down to if Captain Marvel's powers are strong enough to beat Anakin. And I think they are. If Captain Marvel's powers could keep up with Thanos himself, then I have no doubt she could at least hold off Anakin for a time. Again, Anakin is going to put a lot of pressure and is probably going to give her at least a few scars from this matchup, but overall, I just see Captain Marvel's powers as too strong for Anakin, and they're going to end up seizing her the win. Thus, I declare Captain Marvel, at about 85% strength, the victor. Next matchup, we have Captain America versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. This was a lot closer of a call. So, for Captain America, he's a super soldier. So, physical strength, speed, and durability are all... He's very capable in all factors. He's been able to rip through metal like Iron Man suits and fight off Bucky's arm. He's been able to punch and throw people around like crazy and like ragdolls. Speed, he was able to keep up with much younger and much faster opponents and take on multiple opponents at once very quickly. This is actually good, or it's a showing of speed, because if he doesn't do it fast enough, that enemy's going to take him down. Durability, Cap is very tough. He has taken Chitauri gun wounds, Ultron drones, Iron Man blasts, metal arms, Bucky, gunfire, stun batons, Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos punches, and so much more. Cap is a tank. For martial skill, Captain America is very skilled. He is armed with his vibranium shield, meaning he can use it to block enemy bullets. He can throw his mighty shield, and it can deflect off of places and hit people. And he's very skilled. Even without his shield, he can still fight very skilled, as shown in Infinity War when he took on Thanos' Black Order people with nothing in his... And he was completely unarmed, and yet he still kind of beat him. He's also good with firearms, as he has used a pistol during World War II, so he is capable there. Powers. Captain America really doesn't have any powers, other than his superhuman speed and stuff. But nothing really. All of them really go down to his physicality. And for his weapon, he has his vibranium shield. Now moving on to Obi-Wan Kenobi for physicality or for strength. Obi-Wan isn't really that strong. I mean, he doesn't really dish out a lot. He more takes in the pain, but he doesn't dish it back out. Speed-wise, Obi-Wan Kenobi is very gifted. He's able to evade like 20 strikes per second against General Grievous and hold up against Dooku and Anakin Skywalker, who are very capable speed fencers. Durability, Obi-Wan is a tank. I mean, this man has survived trauma, poisons, lightsaber slashes, blaster wounds, explosions, nuclear wastelands, this ship crashes. This man's taken it all, at least in the Star Wars universe, except losing a limb. Yeah, Obi-Wan never lost a limb. But, martial skill, Obi-Wan Kenobi was a master of Form 3 lightsaber combat. Surisu, Form 3 is a defensive lightsaber form based on defense and nothing else. He was also skilled in the previously mentioned Form 4 lightsaber combat, which was the acrobatic form. And force powers, Obi-Wan has basic force pushes and pulls. He has the Jedi mind trick. He also has 2 to menace, so he can absorb blaster fire and flamethrowers, though lightsabers and force lightning were beyond his reach. He could see into the future and had force sense and physical augmentation. Now, to compare and contrast. Strength, Captain America. Speed, Captain America. Durability, it's a tie. These two are tanks. Martial skill, I'm going to give it a tie, actually, as I really don't see Cap breaking through Kenobi's defense, nor do I see Kenobi breaking through to Captain America. Powers, it's going to go to Obi-Wan, since Cap really doesn't have many powers, and Obi-Wan has the Force, and he's pretty capable. Armament, it's pretty difficult. I'm going to have to give it a tie, as I don't see Obi-Wan's lightsaber breaking through Cap's shield, and I really don't see Cap's shield breaking Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Now for the actual battle. This one is incredibly tough, and both combatants are going to be incredibly injured and very bruised. However, it really comes down to Obi-Wan's force powers. I think with a perfectly timed force push or a perfectly timed force pull by Obi-Wan, I think he could beat Captain America. It made me feel like Force pulled his shield and then cut him down with his lightsaber and struck him down is probably his best way to go. Though I can't stress enough how well Captain America, or how much pressure Cap is going to put on Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's going to be about like 50% strength. He's going to be like bruised, battered, bloody nose, he's just going to be cut wounds. He's going to be incredibly injured for the finale. However, I still declare the battered and bruised Obi-Wan Kenobi the victor. Now we have Iron Man versus Luke Skywalker. Now for this, I chose Iron Man from Captain America Civil War. I just find his Infinity War and Endgame suits way too powerful. And I chose Luke from Return of the Jedi, as that's where most people know him from. And I think if we just go to his book history, it wouldn't be as fun. It wouldn't just be as fun for me if I didn't use Return of the Jedi. So, for Iron Man is incredibly physically strong, able to punch through large enemies, and actually put Captain America down on his knees. Not a lot of people can say they did that. He was also able to perform a cut on Thanos. Yes, I said I wouldn't use Infinity War, but still, it's an impressive feat. I can do what I want with my video. Which, again, is a great showing of strength. Speed-wise, Iron Man really relies on his suit to fly around, so he's not really physically fast. Durability, Iron Man is a truck. He is taking cars, his own suits, explosions, vibranium shields, a metal arm from Bucky, and just kept on fighting. Martial skill, Iron Man really relies on his suit. He can fire out little repulsors, mining lasers, a massive arc blast through his chest. And he has like these little things where he can like lock people's feet together and kind of keep them trapped. He can fly around the battlefield. And one thing about the Mark 46 that makes him a lot more powerful is that he can analyze an enemy's fighting pattern, which he did against Captain America, and made a bunch of countermeasures. Powers. Iron Man really doesn't have any powers. Instead, he really has his suit. And for armament, he has the Mark 46 Iron Man suit. Now for Luke Skywalker, for strength, he matched Darth Vader in a strength contest, who is one of the most physically strong people of his day. For speed, Luke also outpaced Darth Vader and was able to move across the battlefield incredibly quick. Durability, Luke took on Palpatine's Force Lightning like it was nothing. He survived his hand being chopped off by Vader and just kept on. Or he didn't keep fighting, but he could still keep on going. He was able to survive being frozen or nearly frozen alive. And that's pretty impressive. For martial skill, Luke was capable in Forms 5 and 3. The Strength lightsaber form and the all-defensive lightsaber form. And he may have had some skill in Form 4. And he kind of had like a hybrid form when he did it. Power levels, Luke could use very capable force pushes, force augmentation, Jedi mind trick, and could levitate C-3PO through the air with telekinesis. However, he really restrained from using powers in combat. Armament and tools, Luke has his green-bladed lightsaber. Compare and contrast. Strength, I'm going to give a tie. They both demonstrated many good attributes, similar attributes. Speed, I'm giving it to Luke. Iron Man's not really fast, physically fast, where Luke is. Durability, I'm giving it to Iron Man. Though Luke can take a lot of punishment, it's Iron Man who's going to take it all. Martial skill, I'm giving it to Tony Stark, Iron Man. Luke is a very capable fighter. He took on Darth Vader, but again, he's not really experienced. And a lot of the gadgets in Iron Man's suit could set Luke up and get him like all mixed up. The little footlock thingies, analyzing Luke's fighting pattern, and the mining lasers, the arcs. I just feel it would be too much for Luke to handle eventually, and Iron Man would win. Powers, I think Iron Man has no powers, but Luke has powers, so. Armory, I'm giving it to Iron Man. Luke has a good-looking lightsaber, but, Iron Man literally has a weaponized suit. Who wins? I'm going to say it's Iron Man. However, Luke is not going to go down without a fight. I just think Iron Man has more experience at this point, and his Iron Man suit has too many tricks that are going to set Luke up. So, I think they'd start fighting. Luke would keep his distance, but then Iron Man put out the little feet locks. Luke would cut it up with his lightsaber. Iron Man would analyze Luke's fighting pattern, get countermeasures, and it would be all over for young Skywalker. Thus, I declare Tony Stark / Iron Man the victor of this matchup. Next, we have Mace Windu versus the Hulk. Yeah. But, alright, let's just go with this. Starting off with the Hulk for strength. Hulk is a beast. He wrecked Iron Man's Hulk Buster. He wrecked Cap. He wrecked Thor. He just crushes everything. Speed. Hulk can jump very far distances. And, do a lot. Durability. Hulk can take bullet wounds. He can take repulsors. He can take so many punches from Iron Man's Hulk Buster. and he could even take Thanos on for a little bit. Martial skill, Hulk's kind of a brawler, kinda. So, and powers, he really doesn't have a lot of powers. He more so kind of like can shoot up in the air and punch things. He has no armament or tools. Now moving on to Mace Windu. For strength, he was able to punch robots or battle droids with his bare hands. For speed, he was able to outpace General Grievous and an entire army of B-2 super battle droids and survive the Geonosis arena. Durability, he survived a face-off with his old brother, Carbaster, and survived having his arm chopped off and took all of Palpatine's lightning, but then died when he fell to the bottom of Coruscant. And he survived the Geonosis arena without scratches. Probably a few scratches, actually. Martial skill, Mace Windu is a master of Form 7 lightsaber combat, the variant he created himself called Vapad. Basically he could draw on his enemy's rage to fuel himself, and this made him incredibly dangerous. For powers, Mace had very powerful force pushes and pulls, and had an ability called Force Crush, where he could crush the organs of people. Yeah, it's a lot like Force Choke. Mace was actually pretty dark. He knew the Jedi Mind Trick, Force Augmentation, and he also had a power called Shatterpoint, in which he could analyze his enemy's weakness and then counter it. And for armament, he has a standard purple-bladed lightsaber. For, alright, let's compare and contrast. So for strength, Hulk, he's just the Hulk. For speed, Hulk, he's just the Hulk. Durability, Hulk, he's just a truck. Martial skill, I'm giving it to Windu. Windu's mastery of Vapad is really his best chance against Hulk. If he can drain on a Hulk's rage, that's his best advantage. Powers, Mace, and armament, Mace. The winner, this might be a little controversial, but I'm going to go with Mace Windu. My reasoning for this is Mace's skill in Form 7, Vapad. Mace can draw on his enemy's rage to fuel himself. That's what he did against Palpatine and won. Hulk is one of the most rage-filled people you're ever going to meet. Mace is going to draw on Hulk's rage, and he's going to be fuming with powers and counterattacks. Not to mention that his Shatterpoint is instantly going to find flaws and weaknesses in Hulk's style that Mace can counter with Vapad. Mace is going to come out of this battle pretty injured, pretty hurt, and it's going to take a lot. I mean, it's going to take Windu all of his skills to beat the Hulk. But I think with enough use of Vapad and Shatterpoint, and enough Force acrobatics, and maybe even a few Force crushes here and there, Windu's going to eventually beat the Hulk with a quick stroke of his lightsaber. Thus, I declare Mace Windu the battered and broken victor. And for our final matchup, we have Doctor Strange versus Qui-Gon Jinn. So, for Doctor Strange, for strength, he knew some unarmed combat, but, not really a lot. So, he was kind of like a brawler. For speed, he could be agile, but he relied mainly on his powers. Durability, Doctor Strange was able to take on Thanos and was able to survive being choked alive by Ebony Maw and his torture, as well as hold off Thanos and Dormammu. Martial skill, again, Doctor Strange is kind of a brawler when it comes to powers, and he kind of just punches and kicks, nothing really much. He doesn't really have a tactic. Powers, Doctor Strange is incredibly powerful. He can create those ancient little orange shields around himself. He has a cloak of levitation that can fight for him. He can do little magic chains and pull in enemies. He can do sling rings. He can create himself into thousands of people. And, and he can and he can also levitate himself in the air. Armament and tools, Doctor Strange has some sling rings, and he has that weird, like, baton thing that creates the orange chains. Now, for Qui-Gon, for strength, he kept up with Darth Maul twice, and for a long period of time, so I think that's good. For speed, again, Qui-Gon was very quick, and he could really just, like, outmaneuver everybody, kind of pace himself. However, he could tire out quickly. Durability, Qui-Gon wasn't that tough. I mean, he could take a few punches and kicks from Darth Maul, but that was about it for him. Martial skill, Qui-Gon was a master of Form 4 lightsaber combat. However, he modified it to a more grounded strength approach to Form 4. Powers, Qui-Gon knew basic Force pushes and pulls, Jedi mind trick, and Force speed, and Force augmentation. However, he didn't really use these powers a lot. And he was armed with a standard green-bladed lightsaber. Alright, so for strength, it's really a tie. Neither of these two are really strength fighters. Speed, again, it's kind of a tie. They're not really speed fighters. Durability, I'm going to give it to Doctor Strange, as he's just performed better. Martial skill, I'm going to give it to Qui-Gon, as, I mean, he took on Darth Maul and kept on fighting. Powers, it's Doctor Strange. Qui-Gon wants the Force to flow through. He wants to be controlled by the Force, not control the Force. So a lot of his powers are hampered down, where Doctor Strange is just a beast. Armament and tools, Doctor Strange, as they really just assist his powers more than Qui-Gon's lightsaber. So for who wins, I think it would start out as a martial contest, but once Doctor Strange starts pulling out those powers, Qui-Gon is screwed. He's either thrown into a different dimension by a sling ring, he is chained and then hit by one of the orange portals, or his neck is snapped by the cloak of levitation. Any of those. And thus, I would declare the somewhat exhausted Doctor Strange the victor of this match. And there we have it, guys. Sorry if this video is a little longer than most. If you're really dedicated to this channel, you would stay for the whole thing. We're going to have another 5 opponents pretty soon, and then we're going to have the championships, which is everybody who won in this video and everyone who wins in the next video against each other. So, yeah, guys, I'm really excited to continue this series, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.